Yeah, 8-2 win right there for Christian Carroll.
All right, we're going to see two young men here next. McCrae Hagarty out of redshirt freshman out of Waverly Shell Rock, and Sawyer Bartelt, a freshman out of Miami, Florida. Bartelt in the gray singlet.
Sawyer, Bartelt.
Hagarty in the green. It's nice to see Hagarty doesn't have a bunch of bandages on him. I don't think I've ever seen him wrestle where he didn't have a bunch of bandages on him.
Yeah,
banged that shoulder up in the past.
This sport is brutal. This sport is brutal. I hated wearing the shoulder sleeves.
Yeah. So two really, really good wrestlers
Nice
here.
shot right there from Bartelt. Up. Beautiful level change right there. Got to the high seat, got up to his feet. I don't think he was spatially aware, or maybe he just thought he could get through the situation right there, but good defense and mat awareness by Hagarty.
Yeah, and Hagarty, 10-5 record last year's redshirt freshman, as I said, dinged up a little bit part of the season. Two-time Iowa high school state champion in 3A, wrestled for Waverly Shell Rock. And Bartelt, a freshman this year, came in ranked as a number 12 pound-per-pound high schooler from Flo. And just a phenomenal high school career. 139-0 record as a high schooler, so a lot of talent there. We're watching the wrestle-off here, but whoa. Well, tried the big throw, that didn't quite work.
Yeah, I think he went front headlock there, looked to run and tried to, I don't know if that was like a cement mixer action, but I think it was more McCrae dumping. I think he came down on that elbow right there and hit a nice dump action and found his way to 5 points to get himself started. That was a beautiful sequence. And I think those are things just like as a young freshman coming from a space where you probably dominated over 95% of your guys. There's just some little tricks of the trade and things like that where those things don't always work out in your advantage early in your career. But again, I think most of these young people that are being recruited are coming in with the expectation that they plan to wrestle and they plan to win right away. So you can never get discouraged from a fan standpoint when you're seeing that energy be put out there.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of freshmen in the lineup are here. I think 9 freshmen on the team, 9 true freshmen I think are on the team this year. And so we may see some of those young men in the lineup, but if not, we'll probably see them all redshirt, which just bodes well for the future.
Yep, and the thing is, you still have those 4 matches that they can wrestle in. I don't know if everybody remembers, but like I think 2 years ago, you got that rule where they can wrestle in 4, or they can weigh in 4 times for events and still keep their red shirt, so you can actually get nice. We saw that earlier. Now he just has to finish it, and he's going to. Great attack right there. Stayed around the legs, around those knees, and was able to collect that takedown. So great job by Sawyer.
Yeah, and so that's really made a huge change with the ability for freshmen to wrestle a number of times and then still maintain that redshirt year, because you get to see them slotted in that lineup a lot more and really get a feel for them. So, as the season goes along, obviously they're not going to be able to redshirt if they're in the tournaments at the end of the year, but as the season goes along, you really get an opportunity to get a feel for what they've got and also help out in the starting lineup and maintain that redshirt year if there's a lot of talent at one particular weight class. I don't know, maybe not, but he does to me.
You want them all to look like Evan Bachman. That's it.
Yeah.
You want them all to look like Evan. Evan is a grown man, brother.
Yeah.
And so is Christian. But
I was talking to Dresser, this would have been this summer sometime at one of the outings, and I asked him about Bartelt. He said, I think he could be an 84
84.
pounder. Yeah.
Well, because if I know anything about Dresser, that he does not mind someone like leaning out.
Yeah.
Well, he did the same thing with Colbray.
Yep.
Because Colbray got down to 74. I think his best year would have been at 84.
Yep.
Where he still not in his man's body yet, right?
Right.
Like he's strong and he's healthy and but he's still not in his like grown 20, 21, 22-year-old man body. So that'll be interesting to see how his career develops and if he stays at 197 because it's the first time he's cut weight.
Yeah. Yeah, because he wrestled 220 in high school.
Yeah.
Well, and that's an experience in and of itself. I mean, you know, so okay, you're the guy in high school and you're just beating all the competition, and now you come into a room where there's a lot of competition, and they want you to, you know, cut weight. Nobody's forcing you to, but you know the spot in the lineup is there, and we're going to do it in a responsible manner, and that's the first time that both those things happen. So it's a big old shock for a lot of freshmen who come in.
Yeah. And it's the grind, the day in and day out grind. Like, it's like, all right, one day you're wrestling Bachman, the next day you're wrestling Carroll.
Yep.
Maybe on a different day you have Bastida.
Yep.
Right? And so it's like, golly, like, can I get some help here? Like,
Absolutely. 8-5.
I can only imagine, like you think about heavyweight, right? You think about Herrera coming in and wrestling younger Bastida, right? And and Herrera was one of the best heavyweights in the country.
Yep.
So dominant at the Iowa high school season. And then you're coming into the Iowa State room and you got younger Bastida waiting for you, probably licking his chops a little bit. And you're like, okay, like I'm going to go get after him. And I just remember like my first live wrestling practice with John Reeder, and I'm like, oh gosh, and that was a year he was like 38-0, and I think majored 95% of his opponents. I'm like, I have to practice with this every day, but it gives you an understanding of what the level is. If the goals that you want to attain, what has to happen. You see how that person works. You see how that person grinds. You see how they focus on the schoolwork, the nutrition, and it just gives you a deeper sense and a lens of what you have to do to put yourself in position.
Yeah.
And it never guarantees anything except for probably peace of mind.
But you know, and then you have a good match against somebody, and you gain a little confidence,
yeah.
and that's an important thing too.
Nice throw by right there.
Yeah, I remember Al Nason. Al and I are good friends. Al was like four-time All-American back about shortly after Gable was here, and he told me about the first week of wrestling practice, and he comes in and he's wrestling, and you know he's wrestling guys like Gable, and all those guys were so good in those national championship teams, just getting the crap beat out of him.
Yep.
Then about the third day, he's wrestling, and Coach Nichols comes in and says, "Nason, what are you doing over there? Get over with the freshmen." Okay.
I didn't know that's how it worked, Coach.
Oh boy. Well, this is good. Well, you know, and one of the good things about some of these guys that are wrestling today, you know, they're going to have that opportunity to, you know, okay, now I got to see what I need to work on for the next few weeks as we move on to the next round of Wrestle-Offs on the 2nd of November.
Oh, is it moved off of next weekend?
It is. It's
okay.
Because there were enough guys that some were a little dinged up.
Yeah,
nothing bad, but
right.
just. And so Dresser has pushed it back to. He told me just before we started here that it'll be November 2nd.
Okay, that's a good information right there.
Well, that's good.